You know what's wild? When a politician admits they made a mistake, you'd think that'd be front-page news. But when Elizabeth May says she messed up by trusting Mark Carney's Liberals, suddenly everyone's acting surprised like they just discovered politicians can be slippery. Shocking, right? Welcome back to Canadian Insights, where we break down the circus that is Canadian politics. And today, folks, we've got a doozy. Elizabeth May is calling out the Prime Minister for what she's calling a betrayal, and honestly, the drama is serving major, I trusted you with my heart, and you broke it energy. Let's dive in. So here's the tea. Elizabeth May, leader of the Green Party, voted in favor of the federal budget. Now, for those of you who don't obsessively track parliamentary votes like it's the Stanley Cup playoffs, this was kind of a big deal. The Greens don't typically play nice with the big parties unless there's something substantial on the table. And in this case, May thought she had a golden ticket. Climate concessions. Environmental promises. The kind of stuff that makes a Green Party leader's heart sing like a choir of electric vehicles humming down a carbon-neutral highway. But here's where it gets spicy. Less than 2 weeks after the budget passed, those promises started evaporating faster than your New Year's resolutions in February. And May? She's not happy. Now, let's be crystal clear about what May is actually saying here because the headlines have been doing the most. She told the Toronto Sun she doesn't regret voting for the budget. Let me repeat that for the people in the back, she doesn't regret the vote itself. What she regrets is believing Mark Carney when he looked her in the eye, metaphorically speaking, and promised climate-related commitments in exchange for her support. It's like ordering a deluxe pizza with all the toppings and getting a sad cheese slice instead. You're not mad you ordered pizza. You're mad you got scammed. May put it perfectly when she said, and I quote, "I think it was a mistake to believe them, but I don't regret how I voted. I have a clear conscience, I didn't renege on a commitment." Translation? She kept her word. They didn't. And that, my friends, is the political equivalent of being ghosted after a great first date. You showed up with flowers. They texted new phone, who dis? 2 weeks later. Brutal. But what exactly did Carney promise that got May so fired up? Well, buckle up, because we're about to get into some wonky policy details, but I promise to make it fun. The big issue here revolves around carbon capture and storage subsidies. Now, if your eyes just glazed over, stay with me. Carbon capture is basically technology that sucks carbon dioxide out of the air or from industrial processes and stores it underground. Sounds great, right? Environmentalists love it because it reduces emissions. Industry loves it because they can keep doing their thing while looking eco-friendly. Win-win. Except there's a catch, and it's called enhanced oil recovery. Here's where it gets messy. Enhanced oil recovery is a process where captured carbon dioxide isn't just stored away forever like a vampire in a coffin. Instead, it's pumped underground to dislodge hard-to-reach oil deposits. So you're capturing carbon, which is good, but then using it to extract more fossil fuels, which is, not exactly what environmentalists had in mind. It's like going to the gym, working out for an hour, and then immediately hitting up a drive-thru for a triple cheeseburger. Sure, you did something healthy, but did you really? May says she wasn't just being naive when she thought the Liberals meant it when they promised that carbon capture subsidies wouldn't include enhanced oil recovery. She genuinely believed Carney when he made that commitment on the floor of the House of Commons and put it in writing in the budget. And here's the kicker, less than 2 weeks later, that promise was reversed. Poof. Gone. Like it never existed. May called it a shocker, and honestly, can you blame her? Imagine trusting someone enough to vote on one of the biggest financial documents of the year, only to have them pull the rug out from under you before the ink is even dry. That's not just bad politics. That's betrayal with a capital B. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the resigned Environment Minister in the room. Steven Guilbeault. Remember him? The guy who was supposed to be the environmental conscience of the Liberal cabinet? Yeah, he quit. And May had feelings about that, too. She said she was shocked and heartbroken over his resignation. And here's the thing that really got to her. The day before Guilbeault resigned, he was in the media saying he wouldn't quit cabinet. May assumed that meant he'd seen the Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU, and it couldn't be that bad if he wasn't planning to leave. But then he did leave. And that, my friends, is when May realized just how deep the betrayal went. Guilbeault's resignation was what May called a principled act. And you know what? She's right. When your values and your job are in direct conflict, sometimes the only move is to walk away. Guilbeault clearly saw something in that MOU that made him realize he couldn't stay and keep his integrity intact. And for May, that was the final confirmation that she'd been played. It's like finding out your partner's been lying to you, and then their best friend quits being their friend because they can't support the lying either. It's validation, but it's also devastating. So where does this leave us? Well, Canada's policies on carbon capture now stand in stark contrast to American projects, which have included enhanced oil recovery in federal tax credit schemes for years. We're essentially adopting a US approach that prioritizes industry interests over environmental concerns, and that's a tough pill to swallow for anyone who cares about climate action. May trusted that Canada would be different. She trusted that Carney's Liberals would honor their word. And instead, she got a masterclass in political disappointment. Here's the bigger picture, though. This isn't just about one budget vote or one broken promise. This is about trust in our political system. When leaders make commitments in writing, on the floor of the House of Commons, and then reverse course 2 weeks later, what does that say to voters? What does that say to other parties trying to work in good faith? It says your word means nothing. It says politics is just a game, and the rules are made up as we go along. And that, my friends, is how you lose people's faith in democracy. Elizabeth May might not regret her vote, but she's definitely learned a hard lesson about who she can and can't trust. And maybe, just maybe, the rest of us should be paying attention too. Because if someone as experienced and savvy as May can get blindsided like this, what chance do the rest of us have? If you made it this far, you're clearly as obsessed with Canadian politics as we are, and honestly, we love that for you. Make sure you're subscribed to Canadian Insights because we're dropping videos on all the political chaos you need to know about, multiple times a day. Hit that like button if you think politicians should actually keep their promises, and drop a comment below telling me what you think about this whole situation. Team May or Team Carney? Let's hear it. And hey, if you want to see more deep dives into the wild world of Canadian politics, stick around. We've got plenty more where this came from. Until next time, stay informed, stay skeptical, and remember, in politics, trust but verify. Actually, scratch that. Just verify. Catch you in the next one.